Hi, I'm Jamie Miller, a registered SQF consultant at Kellerman Consulting, and you are watching our video series on allergen hazards and controls. And in this video, we are going to focus on the GFSI requirements for allergen programs. GFSI is the Global Food Safety Initiative, an international organization that publishes requirements for food safety programs to adopt when those safety programs want to be benchmarked to GFSI. Allergen controls are mandatory or fundamental requirements for each of the GFSI schemes we are going to review. All facilities, regardless of whether there are allergens used in production, must have assessed the risks allergens pose in the facility, identify controls for those risks, and conduct training to all production staff on the basics of allergens and the risks they cause to those who are allergic. Organizations currently subscribe to a GFSI scheme or planning on developing a food safety program compliant with GFSI standards must have a comprehensive approach to identifying and managing allergens in the facility. Even if you do not currently run a GFSI program at your facility, or if you are considering what it means to have a high-level safety and quality program that follows the highest standards for allergen control in your facility, hopefully you will still find this video to be valuable. For SQF Edition 9, requirements for allergen control are found in the System Elements portion of the SQF Safety Code Manual in Section 2.8. This is a mandatory section. The SQF practitioner and the backup are expected to have undergone food safety training through a HACCP training course, as well as PCQI food safety trained in FSMA-compliant facilities to qualify them to administer and assess the effectiveness of allergen controls in the food safety plan, in allergen preventive control plans, and for GMPs. Allergens must be clearly labeled at each step in operations, as well as at each step in the hazard analysis where allergens are present. The food safety plan or plans for the facility must include allergen controls. Additionally, preventive controls for allergens are required for all FDA-regulated facilities as part of complying with government regulations. We recommend labeling each pallet of each ingredient and finished product with each allergen, as well as clear segregation and vertical racking so that only allergens are stored in the same column, with the most allergen on the bottom bin and the fewer allergens above. Label checks for proper allergen labeling should be performed during pre-operations and during operations, with the best practice being every 2 hours or every hour. If the facility engages in any rework, allergen checks for rework must be in place to assure the allergen changes are clear for the products being reworked. Also included in the responsibilities for the SQF practitioner is confirmation of allergen training at least every year and competency evaluations of employees handling allergens. Beyond training and assessment for employees, a full assessment of chemicals, ingredients, processing aids, and finished products for up-to-date and accurate labeling of allergens and handling requirements must be performed. Finally, we recommend that allergen assessments be conducted more frequently for facilities that add or change allergens in operations throughout the year. For BRCGS programs, Issue 9 is due to be released after the publishing of this video, so please consult Issue 9 for up-to-date requirements. The current requirements at this time, found in Issue 8, are located in Section 5.3, and this clause's start as fundamental, which means you must have a fully developed program in place. Failure to have a fully developed allergen program may result in automatic failure of the BRCGS audit. Training requirements for a BRCGS safety lead are HACCP training, PCQI training for FDA-regulated facilities, and the complete awareness and control of allergens at each step in operations. For an allergen control program, BRCGS and SQF are similar in expectations for allergen control practices, as well as inclusion of allergens in the hazard analysis and food safety plans. Like SQF, BRCGS requires that allergen labeling is comprehensive at each step. Again, we recommend labeling each pallet of each ingredient and finished product with each allergen. Segregation expectations are the same, and the BRCGS auditor will expect that allergens are checked during monthly GMP walkthroughs. One thing to note is that BRCGS requires the completion of risk assessments for allergens in addition to the risk assessment for GMP walkthroughs and audits discussed in our internal audit series. We strongly recommend assessing conformity of allergen labeling and storage practices as part of the GMP walkthrough risk assessment. If there are multiple allergen labeling or storage errors, GMP walkthroughs of BRCGS compliant facilities should be more frequent. BRCGS programs should have label checks for proper allergen labeling at pre-operations every hour during production where possible. For FSSC 22000 programs, the allergen management requirements are not found in the ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System Manual. Instead, the allergen management section is located in the Technical Specification Manual for Prerequisite Programs, or PRPs. Section 10.3 in the TS 22002-1 for food manufacturers, or 4.7.6 of the TS 22002-4 for food packaging manufacturers. In either case, allergen management follows the basic requirements we mentioned for SQF and BRCGS, although the language for FSSC 22000 requirements are much more vague, but the general expectations match the other GFSI programs. Because communication of the allergen control program should be included in any ISO 22000 allergen training, and communication about allergens should be clearly documented and evaluated for effectiveness and awareness and competency of employees on allergens is a best practice. For PrimusGFS, allergens are not mentioned in the first 4 modules. However, we strongly recommend allergen assessments for crop rotations, including risk assessments of allergen residue of soils where peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, or soybeans are grown in an agricultural system. Allergens are addressed in Module 5 with allergen management requirements found in Section 5.18 for warehouse and processing activities. Requirements for PrimusGFS are equivalent to the SQF and BRCGS we mentioned in this video, and a fully considered allergen program must be in place at all times for a PrimusGFS compliant program. Please do not rely solely on our recommended program, and make sure your allergen programs reference and meet all GFSI standards in preparation for your audit. Thank you for watching. For more food safety training videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on LinkedIn.